any of you ever been babysitters? Well, I'm sure you have, and if you have, you know how stressful it can be. Having to be responsible and care for someone else's children is something that takes a lot of trust from their parents and a lot of confidence in yourself. In the summer of 2024, my confidence was tested when I was asked to be the nanny for an 11-month-old little girl who was blind. I've been babysitting for family friends every once in a while for a few years now, and every time it still makes me a little bit nervous. Something that's important to me when I'm babysitting is that the kids I'm watching have fun as well as stay safe. So when I was asked to be the nanny for this little girl, I wasn't really sure what to do. I have never been responsible for a child who couldn't walk, talk, play, or see, so I had to find a completely different approach to take and make sure that she had fun. To give you some background information, along with being blind, she also has a rare disease which causes her to have a frail immune system. This meant that every day she came to me, she had an emergency kit in her backpack. This was basically a kit that had a medication that I had to inject into her leg if she ever tripped and fell, hit her head, had a fever, or got sick. That's a lot of pressure, and it's very scary, so I did everything in my power to make sure I didn't have to do that. I had my eyes on her at all times and made sure to keep her in the safest environment possible. Even the simplest thing, like if she tripped and fell, which many young kids do as they're learning to walk, could mean that I would have to give her that shot, call her mom, and she could even end up going to the hospital. Along with never having watched a child her age before, I had never watched a child as fragile as that. The first day came up quickly, but I went into it with high hopes and only a little bit of confidence. The first few days she was with me, she just cried, and it was terrible. I felt like I was trying everything I had ever done with little kids, and nothing was working to make her happy. I quickly figured out that she hated being on the floor. She wanted to be in my arms at all times, which looking back makes sense as she is blind, so having contact with someone is a big connection to have when you can't see. You can only imagine how tired my arms got carrying around a baby for hours on end every day. The whole entire first day she was with me, I spent the time walking around in circles in my basement singing Old MacDonald Had a Farm, which was the only thing to make her stop crying. Making it through the first week made me optimistic for the second. I had no incidents, and besides the crying, everything went pretty well. When she came back to me the second week, it was clear she wasn't scared to be in an unfamiliar environment anymore. When her and her mom walked through the door, I greeted them both, and I could tell she recognized my voice. She reached out towards me and leaned away from her mom so that I could carry her, and at that moment I felt so accomplished. The second week was very much better than the first. It was incredible. She trusted me enough now to be on the floor and out of my arms, which was a much needed break. I just had to talk to her every now and then or touch her, move her around so she knew I was still there. She was so happy and so giggly. We spent all day playing, singing. I had to help her learn how to walk around. And we practiced certain skills that are important for you that you wouldn't have even thought of if you hadn't known. So we had to practice things like waving at people, and I would set her on the floor and then move somewhere else and talk to her so she could find her way back to me. And she had to learn how to reach in front of her so she wouldn't hit her head on anything, which it's just something you would have never known if you hadn't gotten to experience that, and it was really eye-opening to me. The last few days were a little more rough. Another complication she faces with her disease is that it's hard for her to regulate her internal body temperature, so in the heat in August she got very cranky. Being outside was something she loved. She loved to swing and she loved to play in my garage, but when it was so hot, that wasn't really an option. Her attitude didn't faze me nearly as much as it did the first week though, and I had gotten to know her enough to soothe her and change her mood pretty quickly. I was happy to see her every day, and I genuinely enjoyed it. I looked forward to when she would arrive at my house, and while she was gone, I would spend my time searching for new things for us to do. I could tell that I had grown from my time spent with her and that she was growing too, which made me very proud. I was proud of myself for learning enough about her to make sure that she had fun and to see that she was growing, and I was proud of her for being able to grow and learn these new skills that I was teaching her. I gained so much knowledge and perspective from my time babysitting this summer. It opened my eyes to different careers I wouldn't have otherwise been interested in without that experience involving children and childcare. So adapting to a different situation, learning from my failures, learning new skills that I wouldn't have had without her, and realizing that I can love caring for children showed me that I was at my best. Thank you for listening to my speech.